Today, we're all touched by addiction. Everyone has a family member, somebody they care about, a friend, neighbor, acquaintance. Um, in some way, everybody has been touched by addiction. I was touched in more of a direct way. For 25 years, I've battled with opiate addiction, and for the past 15, I've tried to get help. And the forms of help that are out there just weren't helpful for me. 12-step programs didn't work. Um, Psychiatry didn't work. Hospitalization didn't work. Drugs didn't work. Um, I couldn't seem to find anything. And those times that I thought I'd finally found something, um, when I did relapse and that feeling of the rug being pulled out from under me, and, when you feel in your heart that you finally made it, you finally accomplished something, and then time after time, you go back. Um, it makes it very difficult to like yourself. Um, which I had a problem with this anyway. Uh, I was watching a video on YouTube by, I think it was Joe Rogan and Gabor Mate, and he was talking about how we get our self image between the ages of 1 and 7. And so I was thinking back and I was like, wow, man, uh, that makes a lot of sense because, for a long time I hated myself. Never thought I was good enough. I never thought that I would succeed at anything. Um, you know, I was constantly plagued by these feelings of insecurity, and people would say, "Oh, you're smart. You're handsome, and all this stuff," and it would just make me sick inside because none of that stuff matters. Because when you feel miserable inside, it doesn't matter what you have on the outside. None of it makes it better. Um, Not for me, anyway. It all started to change when I went to prison. I read a book called The Spiritual Science of Kriya Yoga by Swami Kriyananda. And this book laid out spiritual principles in a scientific way that I could understand. The 10 Commandments, thou shalt not. I couldn't understand that because to me, that's authority telling me to do something. And that automatically makes me want to put the middle finger up. So that didn't work for me. But the yamas, non-violence, non-falsehood, non-stealing, non-excess, non-agitation, and non-judgment. The way it says non things instead of don't do these things was really exciting to me because I felt it's like someone was relating to me rather than telling me what to do. So it got past my ego. Um, and I started to realize why you don't lie, cheat, and steal is because it hurts you more than it hurts the other person. And I always knew this. Anytime I lied, cheated, or stole, afterwards I felt like crap. I tried to justify it and try to make myself feel like I was tough and could deal with it. But the truth is, man, it made me feel horrible. And the more horrible I felt, the more horrible things I did. And it was this vicious cycle. And also, I read a book by Eckhart Tolle called The Power of Now. And I had a real problem sitting still with myself. So, as you can imagine, being locked up in prison for 6 months in a single cell for 23 hours a day, that was difficult. Uh, I basically had to find a way to cope, or I wouldn't have survived. So, luckily, I found this book. It started talking about meditation. I got into meditation, and I was in prison, so I meditated for hours. I did some yoga poses, the best of what I could do, just reading from a book. And I did those things every day, and it changed my life. When I got out of prison, my mom come pick me up, and she didn't recognize me. She said that I was glowing, and I could feel a difference, and I've been different ever since. But I lost my way, and I got everything I ever wanted. I had the business I wanted. I was making killer money. I was my own boss. You know, everything I ever thought that I wanted, and I was miserable. And I relapsed, and it took about 2 weeks. I lost everything, ended up in the hospital. You know, that has been my cycle for 20 years. Um, the amount of times that I've been in the hospital on April, I can't count on two hands. Like, it was every year for probably 10 years in April. I mean, it's the weirdest thing. It's like there was some kind of biological clock working, and I was totally unable to control it. Well, when I was able to step back and be in the present moment and look at these thoughts from the outside rather than being consumed by them, I started being able to take back control. And it took a lot more slips and a lot more falls. Um, Finally, this time I was really fed up, and I've always been drawn to Colorado. So I called up some friends that I'd met in a rehab, and I asked them for a bus ticket out here, and that was 8 months ago. And one of the best decisions I ever made, getting away from the places, the people. Back home, all I had to do was pick up a phone and at least try to get drugs. Here, it's not even like I don't even think about it. Um, since being here, I've gotten off of Suboxone. Uh, I got back into psychedelics, which has tremendously helped me. I can't tell you how much it's helped. Um, Being able to sit with those feelings that I haven't looked at for a very long time has enabled me to deal with them and move on. And it works as an antidepressant. Like all the buildup of the week and the month and the years, and it helps to release that stuff and kind of give you a clean slate to work with. Um, so I just wanted to do this as an introductory. Um, this channel is going to be dedicated to the knowledge that I have gathered and how the application of that knowledge has changed my life, and it can yours too.